Hello everyone, this is Angelique with myangeliquecriselle reviews, and I'll be reviewing last night's episode of The Walking Dead, Season 9, Episode 10, called Omega. Whoa, last night, did it not get psychological? It was crazy. It was so crazy. So the episode starts pretty much right where we picked off with Lydia in jail back at Hilltop. Henry still locked up. Man, this is the longest DOI sentence I have ever seen. He didn't even get a court case, did he? He just been locked up at Hilltop for the longest. Anywho, so last night we got a backstory on Lydia and the beginnings of Alpha, her mom. So Lydia starts talking to Henry. They start swapping stories, but Lydia basically tells Henry this is what happened when it all broke out. Her mom and her dad were pretty much secluded with this group of people. It looks like almost in like an apartment, some type of apartment building or some type of close-knit quarters. And you hear everything, the commotion and everything going on outside. And it kind of reminded me of I Am Legend, when they were kind of going back and you could hear the zombies walking around in the streets and stuff outside. You had to kind of be quiet, but you could hear all that noise in the background. So that's sort of what it reminded me of. So they sharing their backstory. And then, of course, Henry. Henry is making Carl's legacy just look so bad. Because right now, Carl is probably would have been Henry's age in like season maybe 5 or 6. And you all know how Carl was. Carl was not trying to flinch. Carl knew how to handle himself. Carl didn't say nothing about his community. Carl was not talking to everybody and their mom. Now later on when he met Sadiq and all of them, later on he kind of felt a change in his spirit, which is different. But as he was coming through, he was not giving out all this information. Henry just giving out the blueprint. He might as well just say, here go the keys to the kingdom, because that's where it is. So Daryl is continuing to listen to Lydia and hearing talk outside of the jail at Hilltop. And so, Daryl is really good. Daryl is a leader. He doesn't even know it. He's a quiet leader. He's one of those people that kind of sits back and observes. So he's listening and observing and getting to know Lydia through Henry as they have these conversations in the jail. So that's one side of what's happening in this episode. The next side is Magda, Miyoki, and Connie. That group basically are talking to Tara as, at Hilltop saying, Luke and your guy haven't come back yet. We're concerned. We need to go look for them because it's been way too long. So they kind of get a search party and they go out and they found this big group of walkers. And they're like, okay, be on the lookout, be careful, because these may not be walkers. These may be these other people who were acting like walkers. So they run across the original walkers. And so no sign of Luke, no sign of the other guy. Gosh, I'm going to remember this other guy. I'm going to go look it up today because I always forget his name. Over at Hilltop. He used to be a savior, but he's now Hilltop. So they don't find them out there. So Tara's like, listen, we don't know this group. There could be hundreds of them. We only got a glimpse of a few of them, but we don't know. So best thing for us to do is to go back to Hilltop, plan this out, and then come back out here and search once we have a little bit more information. Because right now, we don't know what we're running up against. And, we don't really want to have more deaths or something on our hands when we don't know. So they go back to Hilltop. So again, we go back, flashback through Lydia telling her story. And so we're gathering as Lydia is talking to Henry, that her dad was kind of controlling in a sense. And her mom was kind of submissive in the way that they handled each other in the, when they were staying in this complex, whatever, with these other people, as the apocalypse or the zombie thing was happening. So we get a sense of that. And so we start feeling, of course, bad for Lydia because she doesn't really know what's happening. She just knows she's with her mom and dad. and they got this tense thing going on, and the mom just seems so submissive. She's trying to shield Lydia from all this badness. Like let's try to just stay here and just let's make this a safe place for Lydia. Let's not be talking about other things. Let's stay here. So you start feeling bad for Lydia. You're like, oh my God, she kind of grew up in an abusive household. And so Henry starts talking about his mom and how, his mom had to go through this whole stuff. And they were like, your mom's still alive? Lydia's like, wow, your mom's still alive? He was like, no, that's my second mom. Again, spilling all the tea. Henry, don't nobody need to know that all your business. Oh my goodness, he was just stressing me out this episode. Anyway, so then, Henry, Daryl hear him talking about the kingdom again. And he just opens up the doors of the jail like, Henry grabs him out of the cell and throws him out into the yard. Like, what is wrong with you? Why are you telling this girl everything about the kingdom? You don't know her. We don't know how many of them there are out there. Why are you telling her all of what's going on with the kingdom? Leading her right back to your family. Why would you do that? This girl, here go Henry. This girl, her people may be mean, but she's nice. She's not like the others. People can change and yada, yada, yada. Okay, Henry. You known this girl for all of 5 seconds and you trust her like that. You Henry? You are setting yourself up for disappointment. And I feel like until Henry truly has to be in a battle and killing real human beings, not walkers, real human beings, will he not understand this? He has no clue. I think the reason why we all gravitate towards the character Carl is because Carl had to kill someone close to him. He had to be in that fight. He had to learn how to shoot. He had to learn how to protect himself because Rick couldn't possibly be everywhere every 5 seconds looking after Carl. He couldn't. Okay, so Carl had to learn how to defend himself. And until Henry does that, he is a walking bullseye for any group. I don't care. Even their own group. They could be shooting at these walkers, these whisperers, and Henry gonna jump in the middle. He just seems like that type. So he's stressing me out. Nonetheless, again, stressing me out. So, Henry and Lydia, and then, Henry's cursing the day Daryl ever was born, pretty much. And why you gotta be this way with her. You shouldn't be like this with everybody. Trying to it was a mess. Okay, Henry, whatever. So Henry ends up going back. Somehow he gets back to Lydia and they start having this conversation again, or eventually he goes back into the cell. So we go back to Lydia's story of her talking about her family. This time, Henry, I apologize. Henry left. Daryl went back down there and was trying to give her some like antibiotics or something because he kept noticing she was pulling on her ear. So she probably had like an ear infection. So he was giving her antibiotics. She was looking like she didn't want it. So Daryl was like, fine, then keep pulling at your ear. I'm not going to keep struggling with you. So Lydia begins to tell him, Daryl starts asking questions about his mom. Like, what's your mom like? Who are these people? Who are you coming from? Why do y'all, again, trying to be gentle this time, but trying to get at what's up with her and her group. So they flash back to Lydia when she was a little girl. And again, now this time you starting to see, this time Lydia says, my mom is not anything to be played with. And she flashes back to where this guy is trying to break out of this place and he's all loud. And you know how noise calls these walkers to you. He's being all loud. And so Lydia's mom basically puts her hand on his mouth like, you are not getting ready to do this. Whatever it is you're doing, I will not let you mess up the safety of my family. This is not happening. And in the midst of her covering this guy's mouth, she ends up killing him. Okay, so this is the very beginning. So basically, they don't realize that you have to strike in the middle of the head or kill them in the head or the eye or something towards the head to finally take a walker down. You can't just suffocate them, burn them. You all know, the show. So basically you see the the guy, basically Daryl was like, well, your mom was justified in doing that because we would have did the same thing had that happened to us. So Lydia was like, no, the guy was weak. She starts going on basically making the guy seem like he was, you know, immature and weak, and it was his fault that her mom had to do what she did. So she talking this stuff, and Daryl kind of, relating to it, because I think that's the relationship between Daryl and Carol is were victims of abuse, some kind of abuse, and so that's how they're so protective of each other, because they understand. Carol got it from her husband or her ex-husband, because she's booed up now with Ezekiel. And then Daryl got it from his dad and Merle, and they grew up in that abusive household. So, Daryl is kind of relating to what Lydia is telling him about the mom and how she had to protect them. And so he's understanding. He ain't saying, yo, you lying. He not going at her like that. But he does understand where she's coming from. So Henry comes in the middle of the night. Talk about, okay, I'm gonna free you, I'm gonna let you go. So they leave that, he unlocks the cell, and Lydia and Henry leave, and they talking or whatever, and they watching out for the guards, because if they get seen by the guards, they're gonna take them right back to the cell. So they're just watching out for the guards. So meanwhile, Lydia is straight up trying to find anything she can to shank Henry. And see, this is what Daryl's trying to tell him. You don't know this girl, for real. You don't know her. You just met her 5 seconds ago. And you willing to do anything and tell her anything about yourself. So Lydia was straight about to get Henry. And I was like, that's what his little butt get. But luckily, they had a baby in the group, and somebody was walking the baby, trying to get the baby to be quiet. And Lydia started freaking out, having a moment. And she was like, she told Henry, take me back to the cell. Take me back to the cell now. So Henry took her back. She closed that door behind herself because she couldn't trust herself, because that's how far off she is. So Henry stayed with her, and then Daryl comes back the next day. So in the midst of this, Magna's group decides they gonna go at night to go find Luke. Okay, who does this? You guys, I be sitting up here just like, I need to start recording my reactions. Because I'm like, who does this? Who goes out in the middle of the night where you can't see? These people look like walkers? What? I'm having anxiety. The Walking Dead gives me anxiety some nights, y'all. I swear to you. So they go out there looking for Luke in the dark. They hearing stuff rustle. Then Magna and Miyoki. Is it Miyoki or Miyoki? They realize, we don't need to be doing this right now. Let's go back to Hilltop, wait till it's light, and do this again. So, of course, Connie's sister is having an attack. Like, when I remember we got separated, Luke found me. Luke protected me. He helped me. So she felt some type of way. She wanted to find Luke. That was her goal, was to find Luke. So Connie decided that she would stay with her sister and help find Luke at night. Okay. So they went back the next day. So next day, they got up. Miyoki went up to where Tara was watching, and Tara basically said, did you find what you was looking for? Well, everybody is getting it in this season, between Judith catching old Negan and telling him, what are you doing? To Tara was like, oh, did you find what you was looking for? I thought so. I tried to tell you. So that was awesome. Mikey was like, no, we didn't. And she was like, and she took the binoculars from Tara and was looking out, and she saw that the guards from Hilltop were walking Connie and them back. Well, the sister was up with the guards, and Connie was kind of further back. So then Miyoki looked again. She was like, oh no. And Tara was like, let me see. So when she took the binoculars, she could see that it was a group of walkers walking just as normal, like regular people. Those were the whisperers. They were walking up and just come across the crop fields. They ain't give a hoot. They was coming through. So that was that scene. So I'm gonna pause it right there. So going back, Daryl And Henry, we're having a conversation, and Henry was telling Daryl, my mom told me stories about what happened to her when she was married before, and how, she had long hair. But the ex-husband would use her hair as a tool to grab onto her to beat her. And so that's why Carol had decided to cut her hair real short, is that he couldn't use her hair anymore to hurt her. So you learn something about Carol through Henry's interaction with Lydia. And so I don't think Daryl knew that. And then Henry started to psychoanalyze Daryl, talking about, did something happen to you? Because you talk like you the guy that would hit a woman or, throw somebody up against the wall. But I don't think you're like that at all. In fact, I think somebody hurt you. And so Daryl was like, okay. He just looked at him and just walked away like, you're not going to psychoanalyze me. I don't have time for that. He was like, Lydia is Tara's issue. You can't help that girl. She's too messed up. Don't leave her alone. Let's let Tara deal with this whole situation right here. So going back. So the whispers are coming up on Hilltop. And Lydia with her bald head, she come through. She don't have on a mask. So she come on through, moving up her crew, moving them out the way, and come up to the fence. And Tara looking like, what the devil is that? And so she was like, Daryl. She called Daryl. Daryl came running up there looking. And so in the midst of Daryl talking, because he goes back and talks to Lydia, and you find out that Lydia, when she first gave a narrative about her dad, she made it seem like he was bit by the walker her mom killed. And that's, of course, we all guess you're going to have to kill the dad once he got bit by the walker. But turns out, Lydia, Alpha, her mama, lost her marbles. And in the quest of saying she's saving Lydia, stabs the dad. Because, the dad wasn't what he seemed. He was actually the one that was trying to talk sense into Alpha, the mom, to say, hey, no, we need to stay here. We need to work this out. And you ain't taking Lydia with you. And it was something about that whole interaction. Alpha lost her marbles. The dad wasn't what he was. Alpha lost her mind. And in the sense of losing her mind, she killed her husband. And Lydia witnessed the whole thing. It was so messed up. So, of course, Daryl is like, in his mind, he's like, no, you don't need to go back with your mom. You're messed up. You need to stay here and get some help. Like, you need to regroup your whole mind, right? So the Alpha come up to me. I don't want no problems. Basically, I just want my daughter back. And Daryl was like, nope, you cannot have your daughter back. My mouth fell on the floor. So now we gotta fight. We gotta fight these people. We don't know how many people she got. And she running that thing. Let me tell you, what she walked through that group of walkers, all them people, and said, excuse, and came up there and said, I don't. And Lydia told Daryl before Alpha got there that her mom, they usually don't fight people. They don't bother people. They don't go looking for people when they get missing because they don't want no problems. They just live in their life. They want to be safe, just like everybody else want to be safe. But honey, she can't roll up through there wanting her daughter. And Daryl was like, nope, not today. So you know what this means. Another season of a fight. Another season we got to go to war. Good God. Do we ever catch a break? I think we caught a break one time when Rick and all of them got to Alexandria. That was when we caught a break. But every season is a fight. It's a battle. So that's where they left it. Here's my thoughts on this whole thing. I think Daryl need to give up Lydia. Let her go back. Okay? And they need to regroup, and they need to have somebody follow Lydia back to wherever Lydia and them stay. And they need to start watching them. Because, they've been watching them for God knows how long. Okay? So they need to go back and they need to start doing their due diligence. Because, see, they didn't do that with the Saviors. Rick and them just thought they could go up to get the Saviors and that was it. And so if there's a lesson to be learned in the 6 year time jump, that they need to do some reconnaissance too. before they start saying they're going to fight people. And again, I love Daryl. But this was something that Rick did too. You guys want to take on a fight before doing due diligence and figured out what you're fighting. Then next thing you know, they got 30,000 people. Everybody needed. Okay, then we losing. We were losing like people left and right. And that is my problem. Why do we have to go run up there and jump in the fight instead of just saying give people what they want? And then just say, okay, let me step back and figure out these people, and then I'm gonna attack when they least suspect it, because they think I'm cool with them, right? Okay, so that's what I think needs to happen. And I'm looking at my notes. So if you see me doing that, that's because I'm looking at my notes. I think if Henry don't catch it this season, what he needs to do is step up to the real plate. He is either going to die or he's going to be maimed in some type of way. And I guarantee it'll be by Lydia. It'll be by the person he so-called trusts. That's what happened. See, this is not Carl and this is not Enid. Okay, these were two people who learned how to handle themselves real early on. And they didn't trust people. If y'all remember, Enid was running away from wherever they were, Alexandria, and going off and following people. You remember? Because if it wasn't for Enid, Glenn wouldn't have got saved from underneath the garbage can. Do you all remember that? Okay, so this is not Enid and Carl. So he needs to straighten up, because if not, he needs to go. He needs to go. So what I liked about this episode, and I'm wrapping it up. What I liked about this episode, I feel like the way I think Alpha is what I think Carol could have become had she not stopped and regrouped every time she had to fight or she had to kill people. Because you remember a couple seasons, I don't know if it was season 3 or 4, she got in the car. It was 4. When we figured out that Carol had killed the 2 people in the prison. And remember, Rick told her, you need to go. You need to go. I'm not going to kill you because we done came this far, but you need to go. You remember Carol was on her own for a good while. She took the car, she left. Then when they first met Ezekiel, Carol had to go stay in that house, and Morgan and Ezekiel would come visit her and talk to her and stuff. Carol regroups her mind, and that shows you how strong Carol knows herself and her personality. I feel like if she didn't ever do those things, she would be with Alpha. I'm not saying she'd go wear faces of walkers, but she could have been an Alpha for sure, because of the type of abuse they endured and the type of, well, Alpha didn't endure that, but the type of person that she was. You know, I think they have that in common. In the same with Daryl, I think Alpha's story and the way that they are intertwines with Daryl and Carol's past, which is kind of cool, which keeps our minds off of thinking about Rick, which keeps our minds off of thinking about, where's Michonne and everybody else. So I like that kind of intersect that they did last night, because Alpha definitely could have been somebody whose mind wasn't strong enough to handle what all was happening, and now you see the results of that. Same with Lydia. Lydia has severe trauma, and you see how her head is always hurt, like she has serious mental issues, and so does her mom. So that's what I liked about last night's story. Now next week, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no predictions. I'm not predicting anything until I see what's going on with this group. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe. Follow me at myangeliquecriselle.com. And we'll do this again next week. Give some feedback. Do you like it? Do you think I missed something? Do you want to hear more about something or my thoughts? Let me know. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.